Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comic Book Burrito Extra Beef. My name's Darien.
My name's Landon.
And today we got another Marvel movie for you. Today we're going to be reviewing the first movie in Phase 5 of the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah.
Quantumania came out. Now we're recording this. It'll be released on this upcoming Wednesday, whenever that is. I think it's the 22nd. But we're recording this on the 19th.
Yes.
So, I don't think anything else is going to change about reception for the movie, but if it does, we're recording this prior to when it releases.
Yeah.
We saw this movie yesterday as we're recording this. And I guess to go ahead, I'm going to say it now. We did a non-spoiler review on this week's episode of the podcast, which will be released by the time this is out. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch that. But if you have seen the movie and you want to hear our thoughts, spoilery thoughts, this is the episode for you. So like I said, spoilers, you've been warned. Now, expectations going into the movie. What were you set at? How were you at going into the movie?
I was very excited. I mentioned I was somewhat neutral, due to the fact that, we saw what reviews were of people just saying, "Oh, it's just okay," "Oh, it's bad," or "Oh, it's great." So I was kind of like, I didn't know where to really put my expectations, but before I saw reviews, I'd say it was pretty high. Consider very excited, and I was very excited because just due to Kang mostly.
I have some thoughts that I didn't actually talk about on the non-spoiler review, but I kind of wanted to on here. That I actually haven't told you either. I want to talk, but I'm gonna
keep
talk
it
about
secret.
some stuff. Yeah. I agree. I went into this movie basically the same way. I went into this movie the same way I go into every Marvel movie, most every superhero movie nowadays. That I'm like, okay, this could be bad. This could be fantastic. I'm just going to go in neutral, cautiously optimistic, and we'll see how I feel at the end.
Yeah.
I did that with this movie, and I felt away at the end, which I'll talk about. I guess coming from this topic and leading into the full-on review, this is a movie.
It's a movie.
This is a movie that is... I'm not wrong in saying that this is a unique movie overall. Like, no other movie really does... But, if you don't want to count Guardians, but, Guardians really isn't as weird as this movie was. Like, character-wise and... location-wise a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is very out there, and I'm all for, I'll be the first to say, I love that the MCU is taking different approach to things, but as long as it's good, that's all that matters.
This movie is very okay. Ant-Man meets Guardians of the Galaxy meets Star Wars. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to throw it out there. One big thing I've seen everyone talk about is the script. While I think that there's a decent amount of dialogue that's a little I don't think the script is more the problem more than it is the execution of what was in the script.
Yeah.
Because there was a story there. There's a story, and the story made sense. I knew what was going on, but it just they didn't execute it right. I think personally, and this is a movie that actually was very divisive right now. Sits currently tied with Eternals with the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score from critics, at least. But you can't really put too much credit into them.
Yeah.
But I think I was saying we just kind of lead into it. I'm going to talk about some things I liked, and you can bounce back and forth and then we'll get into some negatives. Things I liked. I enjoyed the family dynamic that was in the movie. I mean, I tend to do it with the Ant-Man movies. You have Scott and Hope and Cassie, Hank, and now Janet.
Yeah.
I like the whole family thing. You know, got Cassie kind of learning off of Hank a little bit about the quantum realm and science and stuff like that. And I mean, I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the family dynamic is good. In fact, I'd say I liked every character in this movie except one. You know, I like to hear your thoughts on this. I really despise Janet in this movie.
I do not remember why you telling me this. You can tell them.
The biggest issue is I wish she would have. I understand completely. She was trying to keep secrets about Kang and all that.
Yeah, and like her life down in the quantum realm. Wasn't she in 30 years? She said. She
said it was down there for 30 years.
Yeah. And which I've seen a lot of people talking about how like, oh, that's a plot hole. Because they say, well, Scott was in the quantum realm for 5 hours and it turned out to be 5 years.
That's why it's funny because I thought about that at one point. I was like, how does I'm
gonna explain it to you.
Yeah.
Scott got sucked into a time vortex when he was in there. That's what Janet warned him about, and that was the setup for that. That's why he was in there. That's why the time was so different for him than it was for Janet. Janet aged while she was in there 30 years. She was in there 30 years, but Scott was only there 5 hours, and it was 5 years in real life.
Yeah.
And so that was the time vortex. And you actually see apparently some time vortexes in the very beginning of the movie when I think it was Janet out there, and it like, I think it was like the very opening shot where she like walks out of that house or whatever she was in after the ship. You see the ship about to crash.
Yeah.
I think it was Kang coming from the sky or whatever. You can see the time vortexes in the sky apparently.
Yeah.
And now, also, I do want to ask for apologies that we may not get everything completely correct because we have only seen this one time.
Yeah.
But put that out there.
I don't plan on seeing it again anytime soon. I mean, that's a little hint.
I watched it on Disney Plus.
That's probably what I'll do.
You know, I'm not going to watch it again in theaters, but I never normally do anyway.
Yeah. But like, okay, so I didn't know about that because I was confused. I was like, oh dang, dude, if Janet was in there for 30 years, that would have been like 300 years for everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. So, but anyways, I find Janet very annoying with the fact, you know, again, as I was saying, I completely understand of her being secretive about the quantum realm, not wanting to mention Kang or anything like that. Okay, I'm cool with it. I get it. But it's like, it feels like when it hits the fan, that's when you need to start saying what's going on instead of just like, oh, you know, as soon as they're stuck in the quantum realm, just don't ask questions, just listen to me. You know, it's like, no, hold up. Explain everything that's going on here. Like, I mean, you don't really like, she doesn't even tell him what happens when it's like a good ways into the movie.
Yeah, it's very, okay, I want to say this. The movie, for the first, I will say, a good 45 minutes, maybe. Like I said, I've only seen it one time, so I can't necessarily judge how long it was. It was always, there were lines from, I guess, every character. It felt like in every scene, they were like, okay, this guy's bad. This guy's evil. He's evil. Yeah. He's terrible. He's bad. He's evil. This guy. But they don't tell you who the guy is, why he's evil, what's going on, anything. It's very much, I mean, I guess it's very much a mystery, and they're teasing the overall evil that is King the Conqueror, which however evil this character is, which I'm going to get into in a minute.
I get it. I mean, I get it. You want to build up. I perfectly respect and love how they're building up Kang. I love it.
I mean, they got to make it different than Thanos, I feel like. Thanos had his few cameos, or he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. But you have Kang now. We're going to see him. We're going to get so sick of Kang seeing his face.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I do find it annoying though that they kept saying like, "Oh, he's coming, he's coming," and it's cool to do that. Like the first, like I mean, when do you even see? I know you see Kang in the beginning.
It's after you see MODOK. Well, you do see Kang in the beginning. It's after you see MODOK, and then Kang. Oh gosh, it's not the scene where he walks up to Scott and Cassie, is it? Maybe it is. I think it is.
It feels like.
I think it is. That's the scene where he first shows up.
Yeah.
We get introduced to him at the same time that the main characters get introduced to him.
Yeah. I mean, you see him in the beginning, but I'm not going to count that.
Yeah.
Because you see him for like less than a minute.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's just like, okay, we get it. We know this guy's a threat. Okay. And, the audience knows. I mean, especially us comic book fans, we know who Kang is. It's like, okay, cool. They're building up hype for him. Okay. Now, where is it? Okay. You're still talking about him. Where is he? And I'm cool with build up, but there's a line where it's like, like, good Lord, either show him already or just quit talking about him.
Yeah.
I get how big of a threat he is. It's weird because I guess if he was really here, like in real life, I guess we would be maybe doing the same thing. But I don't know. Just I don't know. I'm annoyed with Janet constantly not explaining everything until way later in the movie, and just the constant he's coming. Oh, you don't want to mess with him. He's oh god, he's coming. I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go and say this now. I was gonna save it till later. Let's talk about Kang for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, Jonathan Majors delivers a performance. I talked about this in the non-spoiler review. That is completely different than his performance as He Who Remains at the end of Loki.
Yeah.
And now you get, well, I can't actually count. You get like 10,000 more Kangs, but the main Kang of the movie is the main villain. Speaking also, if you didn't understand what I was saying about the after credit scenes, with the whole, what is it? The like Coliseum of Kangs. It's the Council of Kangs is what's supposed to be.
Yeah, Council of Kangs.
Which there's a lot in there, and I'd like to talk about that here at the end. But Kang the Conqueror, this version of him, I'm of two minds. I loved him. I thought he was great. But he wasn't in the movie that long. It felt like he may have been, but to me, it just didn't feel like it.
No, I feel the same way. I feel exactly.
Also, I didn't. Besides, like one or two scenes, or a few scenes, maybe more than that. But I just didn't feel like he was a threat.
Oh, that's okay.
I wasn't looking at this guy and being like, "Oh my god, what are they gonna do?" I wasn't doing. I was like, "Oh, okay, Kang." I mean, he wasn't. Now it was a scary villain. He had scenes, the scene where he was like, "If you don't work with me, I will kill your daughter in front of you and make you watch it over and over." Like that's scary. That's villain stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that scene. I mean, it's scary to hear, and it didn't get me too hard. But I mean, the idea, the threat, it gets through.
Yeah. I think
I perfectly agree with you because there's only one scene that got me. I was like, oh, dude, Kang's going crazy.
Whenever Kang is fighting, anytime Kang is fighting, that's when I'm like, oh my god, this guy's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was the scene where he was fighting Cassie, Scott, and Hope, and he was just swatting them left and right and just smacking them and doing all this stuff. I'm like, they cannot stop this dude.
Yeah, that and the 1-on-1 fight with Ant-Man.
Yeah. And then Kang. I thought my favorite scene with Kang, I'll say this, besides this, most of his fighting scenes, this is technically one where he floats down and he's mad. And he's looking at all the freedom fighters and he just starts murdering people. Shooting the laser. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah, with the laser beam guy?
Yeah.
Energy just throws it back at him.
Blew his head off.
Pretty much blowing his head off.
Yeah. And we'll get to the freedom fighters here in a little bit, but I want to focus on Kang real quick. This is the reason I think this is. I think this because He Who Remains is the first Kang we met. He wasn't evil at all. He was a little evil, but not too much. He was kind of just. He's probably the nicest one.
You know, he kind of like a what do you call it? I'd say like kind of like a Joker in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, but like just doing dialogue, it's crazy.
Yeah, and he was the nicest one.
Yeah,
I think. It's gonna build up to Kang Dynasty where you meet the just ultimate evil. I think Kang Dynasty is gonna be like a bunch of Kangs, but I don't think it's gonna be one.
Yeah.
That's my theory though. But I think it's gonna each thing he shows up in is gonna be someone progressively more evil. Mm-hmm. I think this is the lesser of the evil Kangs.
Yeah.
Like he's evil, but he's not like his whole thing is like, I was banished by the others. He said I did not agree with what they were doing with trying to rewrite the timelines and stuff. So I broke off and I tried to kill them, but then they banished me here. I want to go back so I can kill them all. Yeah. That is, I mean, that's he. Oh, it's so difficult to try to explain this. I feel that he is not as big of a threat as I originally thought he was going to be going into the movie, but I get why he's not, so I don't necessarily have too much of a problem with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, I think completely that he's like the one we're going to be getting at the end. I actually agree with that idea, with the thought of each Kang or each next variant we're seeing is more
evil,
more violent and not taken. Yeah. Like, because I mean, this Kang here in this movie is willing to work with people. You know, like, look, help me out. I can get you back. I can give you all the time. I mean, probably bluffing a bit, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We saw it with Janet when she saw his mind or whatever, and saw it with Scott again. And with Janet, he was like, if we fix my chair, he said, I will take you home. I'll give you your time, and we'll both get what we want. And then he tells Scott, he's like, I need your help. If you can fix my chair, I will give you what you want. You can have your time with your daughter back and all this stuff. And he said, and I can have what I want. So he's very much a deal maker. This guy. He's I think he's manipulative variant of Kang.
But I think the Kang we're going to end up getting at the end ain't going because he does you said earlier, does a threat with Scott and Cassie saying, hey, if you hey, I will kill your daughter and make you relive it constantly.
Yeah.
So unless you help me. Like, I feel like the real Kang ain't even going to make that deal here. It's just straight up, hey, I'm killing your daughter and you're going to watch it. And I'm going to make
and then you decide if you want to help me or not.
Yeah, and I will think about maybe stopping you at that moment. Like, that's what I feel like, Yeah,
I 100% agree. But that's my thoughts a little bit on Kang. I do still think that he was a really good villain. And that we are currently spoiled to have these few great villains in a row that we've had with Marvel. Yeah. Doesn't happen all the time.
I know. It's crazy because it feels like the issues in the beginning were swapped now, because it feels like the heroes are not as good, but the villains are great. Like, unlike back then where the villains were just okay, but the hero awesome, At the time, I mean, it felt like Loki. I mean, it was just like Loki's like the only like really good one, and Thanos.
Yeah,
and I would say that was the whole thing of Phase 1, 2, and 3. I mean, Spider-Man movies had the good villains, like with Vulture and Mysterio. And I mean, like, really, what else was there?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Winter Soldier.
Maybe. I mean, Winter Soldier's cool. I guess. I mean, I heard someone saying Zemo because he actually.
He did tear apart the Avengers, but like.
Yeah, I mean, he got what he wanted, and that was before. I was like, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Let's see. I gotta figure out where I want to pick up from there. This movie is not. I think you would agree with me here. Which I don't know if the original plan was to do a trilogy or not, but this movie does not act as an ending to the Ant-Man trilogy at all. I mean, it might a little, but not in the ways it should.
Not one bit. The way
not in the way it counts.
I'll be honest. I absolutely hate the ending. I really wish. I mean, they kind of hint towards something I want. I'll let you finish.
Well, I don't hate. What ending? You talking about the actual ending of the movie? You're talking about post-credit scenes.
I'm talking about not post-credit scenes.
Okay,
I'm
the ending.
The actual, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
all right.
So they do a whole bluff thing, whatever with so there, you get the final battle with Ant-Man and Kang, and Kang is going crazy on Scott.
Yeah,
and Kang realizes the source for his time, the source of power to his Tancho is about to explode. He tries to leave, goes in the quantum realm portal so he can get back to Earth. So go back to Earth, do it. But then Wasp comes in, takes him out, and he dies. Whatever. So next thing you know, the portal closes, and Scott and Hope are just sitting there. They're looking over.
I'm going to dismantle your issue here in a moment after you finish explaining this.
Well, do you think
no, because the whole scene was a setup. While it was kind of poorly executed, it was also something that was set up at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
I'll tell you. Let me tell you. Right. Cassie had a line when she told her dad about what this machine she was building. She said, "If I had this back then, I could have saved you. I could have gotten you out."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Well, it's okay." He said, "I'm here now." That's what she did at the end of the movie. She was able to get him out, like she always wanted to do, that she wasn't able to do when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so that was kind of a setup for that a little bit.
That part wasn't even really my issue. I was just like, okay, they kind of, because I don't know, it kind of makes you think like, oh, okay, it looks like Scott and Hope are stuck here, but Scott's satisfied that Cassie's safe. He knows she's gonna be safe with Hank and Janet.
Yeah,
and not he's like, he has hope. They're looking over the city. The place is safe. We're good. That doesn't happen. They open the portal, and then it does like a little bit of a recall of what happens in the beginning of the movie with Scott. Like loving his life and all that.
Yeah.
My issue is that there's a moment where Scott kind of, I don't know, would you say kind of has a bit of a panic attack?
Yeah. He kind of just realizes, wait a minute. Kang told me that if I didn't stop, if I did stop him, something even worse would be happening. He said, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And he kind of has that moment where he was like, wait, something's wrong. What have I done? This is, and you have that moment in the theater as a watcher. Personally, I was like, oh,
yeah, I thought it was going to end off like right there, like turn to black. What did I do? And then it was going to go to credits.
That would have been really good ending. And then he kind of has the moment where like, oh, maybe I'm overthinking things, and he just keeps going back through his life. And then you get another shot, him having the birthday dinner, even though it's not his daughter's birthday. And he kind of has a moment. He was like, well, surely nothing. I can't remember exactly what he said. He was like, surely nothing bad can happen now or something. I don't know, all that. He's kind of just like this happy, nonchalant thing, but there's also that sense of like things are about to get nuts.
Yeah, that's
like you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Kind of.
Yeah. And he starts like freaking out again. Like, wait, what if Kane does come back? What are we going to do then? I mean,
yeah,
he's like freaking out.
I personally
is grossed out, and then that's it. And I'm just like, oh, you should have ended it with like him like freaking out. Like, that would have been a great art.
I liked
like having like some not PTSD precisely, but like. And like it's like really like bad anxiety.
Yeah, I personally liked the ending of the movie because I thought it was different. Like Marvel movies normally end the same way: happy ending, superhero thing. Sometimes a cliffhanger, but the only really big cliffhanger we got was like Infinity War, not No Way Home, Far From Home.
Yeah,
I mean that was a post-credit scene, really. So that really wasn't. I don't count that. This ended in a way where there was that little bit of happiness, but there's also a sense of like overwhelming dread. Like, oh my God, something's about to happen. Something's happening. And like, or going to happen. And I liked the way, I thought it was different. And I thought it was, I think it was a different way to end a movie than just your classic, oh, everything's good. We saved the day and into the credits.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I kind of did enjoy it. Now, was it executed well? I mean, that's actually, I don't think the ending was executed badly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's awful or anything, but I'm upset in the fact that I wish they really ended off with Scott like freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally, if he's all like,
the final line of the movie was like, "Oh God," and then the credits are just like, boom, and it's like.
Yeah, or like Kang will return. Like literally do it like right there.
Yeah.
And then play credits. And it's just like, oh God. You know, I think I would have felt more satisfied if they ended it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not like what they did was awful. You know, I want to make that clear. You know, it doesn't just like, you know, the ending was so god awful. I don't even want to, you know, but
yeah.
I kind of wish they really went for it on that part of holy God. They didn't beat Kang.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, we'll talk a little bit more about Kang though at the end. Let's get just a couple other characters real quick. Let's talk about MODOK.
Yeah.
MODOK is this is one thing I heard a lot of reviews. People were saying they did MODOK dirty. And everyone's like, this terrible, horrible MODOK they did so bad. Some reviews I listened to, I get why they're saying what they're saying, but unironically, I think I really like MODOK. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, he MODOK's a weird.
I shouldn't have liked this character, but I did. I think it's because he's so goofy, and if you're not going to treat him seriously, I told you this, Landon. If you're not going to treat him seriously, if you're not going to have him as a threat, then at least treat him like a joke. And they did. And I think they did. Everyone keeps saying like, oh, he's the butt of the joke for like the whole movie and all this stuff. I don't think they didn't really make fun of him, but like once or twice it's felt like. I don't remember too much.
I mean, I think it's pretty. I mean, how many times? I'm trying to think of like all the times they do it.
It was like at the beginning when he's like, "That's a face," and then they talk about his little legs at one point.
I'll say maybe they did it 4 to 5 times.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like there was that other scene where again, spoiler. Oh, I guess this is a spoiler cast. Like where like he's dying and does like Hank say something? He's like, "What the?"
He's like Darren.
Darren, yeah.
And Scott was like, "I'll tell you later."
I would argue that's a pretty normal reaction. I mean, literally, if you saw me looking like MODOK one day, it's
oh
like,
my God,
the hell's wrong?
And then it made me laugh. Most MODOK scenes made me laugh. I just like looking at him. It makes me laugh.
I mean, while it's not my favorite MODOK interpretation.
But how else are you going to do him in live action? Like, you couldn't really make it any better than giving him white eyes.
I mean, I would say they probably should have gone like the little game called Marvel's Avengers route.
Well, it's hard to do a giant CGI face. Also,
oh no, and I get that.
Because that's all this dude is a giant floating face, basically.
floating face.
He had a scene that I liked. It was when he was dying, which I did call it. I knew he was going to die because I knew they wouldn't keep him around because it just didn't seem like a thing that they could do.
Yeah.
Like I don't see him showing up in anything else.
Yeah.
But they hit a scene where he was dying, and he looks at Scott and he goes, "At least I could die knowing I was an Avenger." And they're kind of all looking around like, yeah, sure.
It's weird because that one didn't get me that much, but the brother line, he's like, Scott,
we were like brothers, and he was like. He like puts his hand on his face.
Well, dude, it's funny because they only like met. How many times did they even meet in the first movie?
I mean, not many times. They were mortal enemies. It felt like in the first movie.
Like twice. I was like, I mean, like you get the final fight at the end of the movie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, does
And you
he
have the scene where Scott gets trapped inside of the thing, and he like knocks on the glass with the suit or whatever.
Yeah, and that's like twice.
Yeah, I think like 2-3 times, maybe 4 if you're on the.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first Ant-Man in a while, but I they like barely saw each other. I just think it's funny to think. But I enjoyed MODOK.
I saw people comparing MODOK to Taskmaster from Black Widow.
No.
I think people are very much overreacting to MODOK. Yes, it's not MODOK like they're used to, but I mean, it's still MODOK. I mean, it's like it. I don't know. I think a lot of people also turned off because it was Darren Cross, which story wise, I feel like it would have had to have been Darren Cross if they really want to bring in MODOK. But like, I mean, you got to pay off that thing. He's in the quantum realm, and it makes sense. He got his like all his body parts were like shrinking or whatever when he was entering the place.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
we also got to see some little MODOK booty.
We do, and that was
not something I thought I would see going into this.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if they did MODOK really good, we wouldn't have gotten that. So that's just my argument. But I mean, it wasn't bad. I'm going to give it a pass. Yeah. You know, if you're gonna do something different, you know, if I can enjoy it in some aspect, I don't see the harm.
I think the most MODOK scene that he had was when he was like, "There is no Darren. There is only MODOK," and that sounded like something MODOK would say.
Yeah,
I bought it in that scene. I was like, okay.
I was okay. Yeah, it's MODOK.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one line,
MODOK.
My name there, yeah, MODOK. I mean, you know,
my name is Darren, and I am not.
Yeah, like that line, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. That's
the redemption arc. So
that's the redemption line for him to be like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't get the whole thing. Like, was that like a problem? He's like, I don't know what to be. Like, I was kind of.
He doesn't know if he's still who he is now that he's working for King. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, because I thought it's kind of weird. I didn't fully understand.
Sorry for those technical difficulties there. But yeah, we were talking about MODOK. We both kind of agree that he was a bad. It is a pass.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say the best, but I wouldn't say it was laughable. I wouldn't go that
They
far.
made. I know you've voiced your opinion on this before. Of them making Scott a joke, like basically basically stupid in Ant-Man and Wasp. I don't think he was as dumb.
It wasn't as bad as it was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
There weren't really many scenes where he had that besides like, I don't know if you want to count the holes scene, but I don't really think that's anything. I mean, he's counting the holes in his head.
Yeah. I mean, because I mean, that's fine with me because I don't know. If someone told me, Landon, you have 7 holes, I mean, I would have to think about it.
I'd be like, 1, 2.
Yeah, 1, 2, 9? Wait, hold on. That's not right.
No.
I get the wrong. I would like recount them. I'd be all like, I count my nostrils twice. Like, that's just what I do. But I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. But like, looking back at watching the first Ant-Man movie, dude, Scott's a smart guy. Like, yeah, it's a bit silly. But like, I mean, Hank Pym, I know, like, I understand Hank Pym let him break into his house, but Scott still had to think on it. You know what I'm saying? Hank still put up a challenge.
Yeah, he had to show he was worthy of being the next Ant-Man.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and then you look at Ant-Man and the Wasp, he's just a moron. And here they kind of fix it. But I mean, you know, it's not as bad as it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. They improved on it, but I wish we could go back to how he was in the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we've touched on a lot of characters in the movie. What
about Cassie? That's like the big one.
Oh yeah, that's true. I knew the actress playing Cassie, I've said many times, from Supernatural. So I was aware of her acting uh, range, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mean that shows she's got happy moments, she's got angry moments, she's got like sad moments. So I've seen how this actress does. I think. I mean, I don't think she was bad. I thought she was pretty good.
No, I don't hate Cassie. I think the actress they got for her was. I mean, I feel like the character is bland. Not the actor, but the character.
Yeah.
I mean, please. I mean, if you disagree, please tell me.
No.
I mean, because it's not on the verge of like forgettable, but not like, she won't be like my top 3 characters. I will just constantly be talking about, like, literally I could just say literally like a sentence of what I thought about her, and that's kind of it. I can't really speak any more of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie Scott's daughter, is very, very intelligent, and she wants to explore more of the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And she loves her dad. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the character.
Yeah, that's the character pretty much. And
well, quickly touching on Wasp, before we move on to a couple other characters and then other stuff about the movie. I think Wasp had the least to do in this movie than every other character.
I agree.
She was really only there, it seemed like, in the scenes where Scott needed help, and she kind of showed up to help.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess that's what a team's for, or whatever. I mean, like Night Watcher and Killzone, for example. If Night Watcher needed help and Killzone was nearby, I mean, Killzone would come and help him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Night Watcher always seems to need help, and Killzone's always there.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and I think Night Watcher should just hang it up, if you ask me. But whatever.
Maybe he will. Anyway,
you'll regret saying that. I forget. You're taking head on this writing. So.
Yeah.
So that's terrible.
But yeah, I don't think Wasp was too big of a character. I mean, she has her name in the title of the movie, but I mean, I don't know she didn't really have that big of a role in the movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The last couple of people I want to talk about was the quantum realm people, the residents, I don't know, freedom fighters, whatever they were. Now I don't know. They never said, if I'm wrong, their names at all. Besides one of them, it was Veb, the little ooze monster, voiced by David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, the whole
he was voiced by David Dastmalchian, the guy who played the Russian guy in the first 2, one that talked with the Baba Yaga. They also played Polka Dot Man.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, what do you think of them? I mean, like, in the movie, I heard in the video that you had watched that the guy had talked about how they want you to care for them. But I mean, I didn't get that that from it. Like, I didn't think they wanted me to care for them. I just think they wanted me to be like, oh yeah, these guys are here. I wonder if they'll help. I cared for like Veb. I mean, I liked him.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought the lamp guy or whatever he was cool. And there's them too. Mind reader, maybe.
I would say there's other characters that are kind of forgettable. Even like the one you see. I see only one I could really like. No, there's only 3. The only 3 I liked, which I mean, I guess they ain't really that bad because I mean, there's only really 4 they focus on.
Yeah,
it's I can't remember her. I can't remember their names. I
don't think they ever said their names. They only said Veb's name, I think.
It's the girl who like kind of leads the tribe.
Yeah.
The guy.
Let me look up their names.
The guy who can like read minds, and I see what people were talking about of like wasting like a great actor on that character. I totally understand now what they meant, and the slime got the guy with like that probably should have mattered the most. The one who dies. I
don't think he dies in a way that everyone's supposed to be like, oh my, oh no, oh gosh. Like it was like, oh man, like that kind of moment. But the one that really they were building up really for that was Veb, and that was the scene where he was getting shot like that. Everyone thought he was going to die. Then he had the line where he was like, I have a hole, son. Then he reformed and like ate everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Let me see the cast here. Sadly, Luis wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, I remember people saying he was, and then I was all like, I swear I read somewhere where he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, Davis Malchin voices Veb. William Jackson Harper, the guy with the mind reader, his character is Quaz.
Yeah.
Quaz. They never say their names. Nick Fury is not in the movie. Google. Randall Park does make a cameo. Jimmy Woo made a cameo at the beginning. I'm not seeing anything else for who voiced the lamp guy and who played that one lady. Maybe this is the actress, Hannah John Kamen. No, it's Ghost. Never mind. She wasn't even in the movie either. What the heck is it? Hold on. IMDb.
You sure didn't pull up Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No, I put up the right one. IMDb. Cast. Here we go. Ventura is the leader girl's name, played by Katie M. O'Brien.
Yeah.
Jamie Andrew Cutler, I guess, is the light guy. His name is Zolam.
So okay.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, but I think the characters that it wanted me to care about, I did care about, like Veb. I liked him. The lamp guy was really there to just be like the brute, kind of, and he also had the funny scenes where he was like, we should just torture him. And
yeah, he's just like, why do you always want to torture people?
Yeah, they had that. I mean, yeah, I kind of touched on what all we wanted to with them. I have one more character real quick. Just touch on Lord Krylar, who's played by Bill Murray.
Oh God. Okay. Never mind. You want to talk about forgettable character? It's Lord Krylar. Bill Murray came there for a check. Which, I mean, I'm sure. And
I feel like it was a cameo appearance, is what he was listed for. But he shouldn't have been in the trailer if that was the case.
Yeah, if that was the case, like they kind of like build it up like it's like a big like reveal. Like, look, it's Bill Murray. Ain't that crazy?
Well, he had a cool entrance in the movie.
Yeah, he had a cool.
Everyone was like looking at him like, "Uh-oh."
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, they should. I mean, granted, they showed like a one snippet of him in the trailer, and only like one of the trailers.
Yeah, it was him taking his glasses off.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking forward to Bill Murray. I'm like, okay, like what the heck is Bill Murray doing in an MCU movie? I mean, he's only going to be in like one probably. I wonder what they're going to do with him.
And I'm fine with the character he played and not showing up too long, because Krylar in the comic books is a character who appeared in one issue of a comic book for I think 3 panels, and then he died.
Yeah.
Or it's not 3 panels. Sorry. It's more than 3 panels. Isn't it 2 panels? No, it's more than that. But he only is in one issue, and it took place in the Microverse, which is basically the quantum realm of the comics.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting him to be a big character. I knew he was going to probably just this. That was it. Yeah. But like, it kind of just felt pointless. It's like, why did they get Bill Murray?
Yeah, just to have that celebrity face.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, I feel like if they wanted to make like a little joke or whatever, like, oh look, it's Bill Murray.
They would have had a line where Paul Rudd looks at the camera and goes, "Hey, look, it's Bill Murray," and then they would back to
if they did that, then it would have been awesome. But I'm just
She-Hulk.
Yeah, I think they're She-Hulk. I mean, I was pretty. I'm sorry, I was a bit disappointed. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Grab your check, Bill. And I guess you can. Like, I don't know. Like, is that just me? I mean, it felt like
Yeah, I agree. I mean, overall, we haven't hit the after credit scenes yet, which we could do here in just a second. I mean, overall, this movie is all over the place.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was more than one scene. I was into it for the whole time. I mean, there was a scene where I was like, I could sleep right now.
There were scenes I thought kind of dragged on. Like I thought I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think of like a scene here.
Downfall of only seeing it one time, because we can't remember everything.
Yeah,
I was there watching it for certain things, and
I'm gonna say like the scene. Like I feel like they were in that one place for like way too long. The what do you call it?
The place where the place I'm thinking about is where all the freedom fighters were.
Yeah, that place. I'm cool with the whole scene before like they drink the ooze and then after they're talking and explaining everything. But then they have like I don't know. It's just me. It just felt like they were just there for like a really long time.
Yeah, it felt like a little bit.
Yeah,
and they were just kind of just there until MODOK showed up.
Yeah, and I mean at that part you haven't even seen Crane yet, and that's like a big part. They keep talking about like, oh man, he's coming, he's coming. It's just like okay,
he's sending his hunter, MODOK, a mechanized organism designed only for killing.
MODOK.
Yeah, this movie, like I said, this movie's all over the place. Not necessarily poorly written throughout for the majority, but poorly executed. Is this worse than Thor: Love and Thunder? Not by any means. I don't think so. No. Is this one of the best movies? Not at all.
No. I mean, I guess
kind of. It's to me, it's kind of just so far. But to me, it's kind of just. It's kind of just mid. Like that's the basic. I mean, in the term of the word being like middle of spectrum, not good, not bad, just I don't know. That's that exact noise. I'd
say it's the most mid movie of the MCU. The one that you think rivals it, or is?
I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternal was pretty bad.
No, Thor:
Dark World.
Thor: Love and Thunder is bad.
I think Eternals can be classified as mid.
I say Eternals is below average. In fact, here you hear a hot take. I'd more or less probably watch Eternals more than this. As I'm currently standing, that's how I feel.
I think I'd rather watch this than Eternals because I actually know these characters.
Well, Eternals
and this movie feels more important.
But I liked more of the characters in Eternals. Like I liked Icarus. I liked Sprite. I liked what's his name? Congo. What's his name?
Kingo.
Yeah, and his assistant.
Yeah.
I really liked them. And the villains really sucked in it. It wasn't as good as the Almighty Kang. But I don't know, and just I don't know because all the interactions they had with each other, Angelina Jolie's character, and who's that one guy that he was like that was taking care of her?
Oh, character's name is Gilgamesh.
Like, remember that scene where they're all eating like at the table and all that?
Yeah,
that felt like that scene had more emotion and got me more feelings than. More than 75% of this movie. And that 25 is just Kang stuff mostly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's probably a hot take there, but I don't know. I liked Eternals probably a bit more than this.
I gotta disagree there.
Yeah.
Eternals.
I understand.
Slow and kind of meaningless movie.
It's slow, but I mean, Eternals has some nice, beautiful shots.
Yeah, this movie did too.
See, I disagree there because the only shot I really liked was maybe like Kang looking over the city and like him, like all the Kang stuff's cool, but like,
I mean, all the visuals were cool.
Yeah, but I can just. I don't know, something about it.
Most of the visuals in Eternals were just sunset shots.
Like the part where Janet, Hank, and Hope are in the desert and they're going to get those raiders or whatever.
Yeah,
come upon them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like that looked terrible to me, and it just the whole movie is green screen, and understandable. I understand they can't actually film in a so-called quantum realm. I understand, and perfectly reasonable. But I just, I don't know, man. There's a part of me that is
some of the movie was filmed with green screen. Some of it was filmed at the Volume in the UK. which is like the big screen that like Mandalorian uses and all that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not like I don't know. It's just not that appealing to look at for me. Like I mean, there's a couple of cool things, like the part where Scott's in like the energy ball. You know, they have like all that wacky stuff. Like, what's it called? What do they call it? Where all the Scots pop out of them?
It was a probability vortex or something like that.
Probability vortex. Yeah, I mean that was a cool.
And you had the the Baskin Robbins version of him where it was like Ant-Man if he never became Ant-Man. Scott if he never became Ant-Man and just kept working at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah,
and you hear the one guy in the background go, "You have any ice cream?"
Yeah, yeah, it was funny. Again, that part was cool. I don't know. It's just I have no desire to rewatch it again currently.
Yeah,
I know I just saw it, but like usually it's pretty good news when you finish a movie. It's like I want to buy another ticket to go watch this again.
Yeah,
I've done. I did it with No Way Home. I literally walked out of the theater. And I was all like,
well, I don't know if you can compare this movie to No Way Home.
Well, I'm not trying to compare to No Way Home. I'm just saying it happened, though. I literally walked out of the theater.
Can you agree with this? Despite the movie having its flaws and stuff, this movie, I mean, it's a setup movie, first off. That goes without saying. It's more just there to set up stuff. But do you think that what this movie does, it does well without like not story wise, but like setting up everything and introducing the threat that is Kang and the Kang dynasty?
So what's your question? Like,
do you think, other than like story stuff and how bad this parts of the story were and the movie in general, the aspects of it that are like the setting up of other things, do you think they do that well?
Oh, if it's like a good setup.
Well, not necessarily if it's a good setup, but like, well, do they set it up in a way where you're like, okay, I see where this is leading, or like, okay, that's leading to this. All right, I'm ready for that.
I mean, somewhat, but I mean, it's mostly due with the after credit scenes.
Well, mostly. It also, they teased the stuff about incursions in the middle of it, and we learned some about like how the Kangs kind of act and stuff throughout like the story. There's stuff sprinkled in throughout the story that set up other things, and then there's the 2 post-credit scenes which set up stuff, which we can talk about here in a second. No, I personally think that I think what they set up has got me more excited than anything that the movie really did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, kind of. Problem, I say a big issue of this movie is that it is kind of important to watch. I just hate it's just not fully that enjoyable to watch, even though it's very important. It's like Thor: The Dark World was like really important because it involved like the reality stone.
Yeah,
it's all like, if you wanted to get some context on what that is. Mm-hmm. And then you have, I mean, like, how crazy would it have been if, like, let's say, Avengers Infinity War was like really good. Or no, Avengers Endgame's fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. But before that, with Infinity War, was like god awful. It's like, man, I need to see this to kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah,
but man, it is a.
Well, I don't think that necessarily that this movie is on the level of something as big as Infinity War. It's more on the level of something. This is more. I know, but this is more like a. Let's see, wait. Avengers: Age of Ultron, like scale movie.
No. Oh, we got scale, like
as in like how important the events of this movie are.
I know.
Yeah, because Sokovia was the big thing in that movie. The big thing in this movie is Kang. But everything else is kind of like Ultron wasn't really important.
I mean, yeah, Ultron's not that important. I mean,
like everything else in that movie besides the whole Sokovia thing, like them dropping it or whatever and lifting it, that's like really the only big important part.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy it that much. And
let's talk about the end credit scenes before we run out of time.
Yeah.
There's two scenes. First mid-credit scene opens to the Council of Kangs. Personally, actually, I like both of the scenes. The first one was kind of like, I didn't expect it. And so it kind of like threw me for a loop. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And so like my theorizing brain kind of went into overdrive, and I kind of missed some stuff. I know it. And I watched the breakdown and I got a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Which I do Rockstars did do a breakdown of both the scenes. I really do recommend watching that because he kind of like pinpoints different versions of the variants and who might be who and all this stuff. And it's actually pretty useful to watch.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff with that. Yeah. But you meet the Council of Kangs, a meeting place for all the Kang variants across the multiverse. These guys are who exiled Quantumania's Kang. The scene centers on a unique trio of Kang, all played by Jonathan Majors, as they reflect on the news that the exiled one has been killed by two Avengers. Each Kang present here will likely be recognized by fans of the comics. There's Immortus, an older, more powerful version of Kang from the far future, who wishes to eliminate all the inferior Kang variants. He was the blue one with the Fu Manchu kind of mustache.
Yeah.
He came out and he was talking like, none of us have killed him. They did, or something like that. He had that really raspy voice. Rama Tut was there. This is one that surprised me the most. Ancient Egyptian pharaoh version of Kang. I think was the very first Kang. This is who I think is going to... I had talked to you about this before the movie. This is who I think is going to be the villain of Moon Knight Season 2.
Yeah.
He also could be the villain of Fantastic Four because they have roots. They have origins with fighting him, too.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see Rama Tut show up. And then there's a third Kang, a younger version in a futuristic blue suit, which is apparently likely to be the Scarlet Centurion.
Oh, okay.
They say, Mortis says none of us killed him, wearing his recognizable tall purple headpiece. He said, they did. They're beginning to touch the multiverse. If we let them, they will take everything we built. So let's stop wasting time. In order to stop the Avengers from meddling in their plans, Immortus announces that he summoned all of the Kang variants across the multiverse to the Council of Kangs. The scene then shows an entire stadium filled with hundreds of Kang variants ready to fight, a development that doesn't bode well for Scott Lang and the Avengers. You can there's a bunch of different versions of Kang, and you can spend hours looking at all of them. There's some monster versions, and but the one that stuck out to me, there's a Kang who is in a sleek gray suit, modern business suit.
Yeah.
That is Mr. Gryphon, a variant of Kang, who's a businessman. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Gryphon happens to be the owner of Kang Industries, or Enterprises, which is spelled Qeng. He actually bought out Avengers Towers in the comic. Someone's bought out Avengers Towers in the MCU, and we also did see in Loki Kang Enterprises as a pruned building in the void. I think it's safe enough to say that he might be in the Fantastic Four movie, and he might be the one that bought out Avengers Tower.
You think they'll beat him at the end, and they'll make that tower the Baxter Building? That
would be smart.
Yeah,
that would be very smart.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it looked awesome seeing all those Kangs, and Lord knows. I mean, you think every one of those different Kangs are going to be like villains in the like next few movies or so? Or
I think those big three that we saw will be.
Yeah.
Definitely 100% with that. The Mortis I'm excited for. They each seem so unique. Like I just really like Jonathan Majors is a great actor to pick for this role because he's very Not why we didn't see him act too much in these roles. I mean, the most we heard was from Immortus, the blue one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested to see where they go with this. The second post-credit scene, though, is my favorite. Because it made me realize I was right about something. We reported on the podcast about Victor Timely being one of the Kang variants in Loki Season 2 and that he was going to be an inventor from the past. Yeah. Well, I was right. The post-credit scene opens to Victor Timely, another known Kang variant, standing on stage while giving a speech in the early 1900s. He's got an afro. He's got a big bushy mustache.
Yeah.
He says, time is everything. He's wearing spectacles and a three-piece suit. He says, it shapes our lives, but perhaps we can shape it. As the camera pans to the crowd, it's revealed that Loki and Mobius are in the audience, probably tracking variants of He Who Remains since the events of Loki Season 1. In the comics, Victor Timely is a Kang variant that travels to 1901 Wisconsin, where he establishes a town, becomes the mayor, and uses his futuristic knowledge to introduce major technological advancements. So it seems like Loki and Mobius are now tracking down variants, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which this one excited me the most because I mean, setting up Loki season 2. So I mean, I'm already excited about that. Didn't expect to see Loki and Mobius.
Yeah.
I heard that silky British voice, and I was like, "Oh, it's Tom Hiddleston."
Ooh. What are you doing, Tom?
But yeah, I did enjoy this post-credit scene, even though it was really not a scene more than it was a scene, but it was like a clip.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. I mean, it got me hyped a little bit, and I was like, "Ooh," but it is weird to be a post-credit scene, but
yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed it.
I mean, you think it's a clip from season 2?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I'm just happy that I got it right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, hey, you called it. So.
But yeah, those are the 2 post-credit scenes. I mean, those set up a lot. I mean, I'm excited for the future. I say that. And now with this news coming out that Marvel's changing the way they're doing things, and superhero fatigue's hopefully gonna die down a bit. I think there's hope. This movie was made under Bob Chapek's oversight.
Ooh.
So we are still in the I guess you could say transitional phase into the Bob Iger phase of Marvel movies. Which I hope will start next year or this year with the Marvels. Now that they delayed it, they could be reshooting a bunch of that.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, I think Guardians is going to be a good movie. I mean, there's really no way it can't not be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's James Gunn. I haven't seen a bad James Gunn superhero movie ever.
Not yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not yet.
But I have faith. But yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I don't know if I say not disappointing for like world building reasons and story building reasons, but disappointing as a movie reasons.
Yeah.
I think you get what I mean, right? Like this starting off phase 5, it starts off phase 5 the way it should, starting to set up the big story. This is the most story setup we've gotten out of any of the movies since phase 4.
I agree.
Loki arguably is the only one. That was a show. But this is a movie, is a weak way to start phase 5, but phase 5 has a lot of good movies, so I expect this phase to be better than the last.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and get ready to rate Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
Yeah, if you don't mind, could you rate it first?
Yeah, I'll rate it first.
Still a bit stuck here.
I was stuck between 2 numbers, but after doing this, I was correct in assuming that I would take one. I'm going to give Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The only thing that's stopping me from giving it a 5 is Kang and the 2 after credit scenes. Each one of those is worth 0.5 to me, so I'm giving this movie a 6.5.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned on the show or not, you kind of have an idea of what I'm going to give it. I have the number in my head. I ain't gonna change it.
Okay.
What was your idea of what I was going to give this movie?
Let's see if I remember. Oh yeah, I think you're gonna give it a either 4.5 or a 5.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right. So because it is 4.5. So here's the deal.
Now you rated Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Because it's we need to. Godly, this is why we need more reheated episodes. Because I am. Because I'm really biting myself now because you told me I gave Eternals an 8 or 7 or so, but it, you know what? Well, now I want to go up to a 5 because now I don't want to because the thing is the movie is below average for me, and I I don't know. I probably will not see this movie again up until Kang Dynasty is going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to rewatch everything else.
Yeah.
When I watch everything else again, when Secret Wars is going to happen.
Yeah.
I want the whole MCU for that.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it is a lot of time, but I shall do it. I'd like us to actually, kind of stream that. It'd be kind of fun, just doing commentary.
That would be really cool.
I mean, it'd be a hassle, but we could do it.
Yeah. So you're gonna give it a what? 4.55? What are you doing?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay. 4.5 and a 6.5. I thought the movie was average, but I gave it the 3.5 for each of the three things that I really did enjoy. We have less than a minute, so we need to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us for this review. Go check out the movie if you haven't already. Let us know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya.